I have done a thing, and that thing is I asked 12 of my friends to give me a number 1 through 1086. And now we're gonna see what One Piece chapter that is. First up is chapter 2, which is of course the chapter where Luffy goes in the barrel, then out of the barrel, and then he punches Alvida in the face. It's also the chapter where Zoro makes his grand debut, or his name rather. Quite the shocker, I know. The next person I asked said 947, which is way more than 2. So we got 947. However, before we talk about it, I'd like to point out this cover photo for chapter 947 called Queen's Gamble. It's Brooke conducting a chorus of seagulls on the deck of the Sunny, suggested by Noda Skywalker. This is, of course, the iconic chapter where Big Mom attacks Udon and Queen uses Brachio Bomber, and where Luffy proclaims Udon is as his. Up next is chapter 1. Yep, someone chose chapter 1. Unbelievable. Yeah, surprisingly enough, chapter 1 doesn't actually have a picture. It's just this. It's just chapter 1 almost done and goes right into it. But I don't think I need to explain chapter 1, but I will. We start off in the Windmill Village where a pirate gang is drinking, and then big mean bandits walk in and dump alcohol on Shanks, the leader of the pirates. And that makes Small Luffy a very unhappy camper. So Luffy eats a fruit and goes to beat up the bandits. But the bandits throw him in the ocean. And then the bandit leader named Higama the Bear gets eaten by an eel that also eats Shanks' arm. Luffy then goes on to steal Shanks' hat and punch that eel. Going onward quite a few bits, 272 bits to be exact, we land at 273, titled Quintet for a reason. Oh, there's Ace. Ace's Great Search for Blackbeard, Volume 2. Sorry about the Diner Dash. Anyway, at 273, it's a very uneventful chapter for the most part. I mean, Luffy is still in the snake. Then that same exact snake gets obliterated by Enel. Absolutely decimated. And then, the best part of this chapter is when Enel is sitting in front of Wiper, Robin, Gonfall, and Zoro. And he says, "There's 6 of us left, and I predicted there'd be 5. So we gotta see who leaves. We gotta choose someone to leave, because I predicted there'd be 5 of us left at the end. And I can't be wrong." And they all point to him and are like, "You're the one who should disappear." And Nel's just like, "Oh, that's a bad choice." Which is spectacular. But since we have time to do, we gotta move on to 836. About 600 chapters later, we land there. Called the Luz Viver card. I don't know why I said Viver. By the way, this penguin that's sitting next to Kuzan, does anyone know where it went? Because it was with Kuzan, And then it wasn't. Like, I have not seen it. In that chapter where we see the flashback of Kuzan and the Blackbeard Pirates, we don't see Camel the penguin, and it's upsetting. Anyway, this is the chapter in Whole Cake when Luffy started fighting Cracker. And when Nami uses Big Mom's Viva card. Quite insane. But we gotta go backwards again, about 200 chapters to 696, which is titled Common Interest. For reasons. But this is the chapter where human Kinemon debuts. Isn't that crazy? And where we get this beautiful panel of just them yelling at each other. Quite fascinating indeed. It's the same chapter where Tashigi kidnaps the Punk-Hazard children. Isn't that great? Kidnapping children's rather grim. So, what if we move on to something more grim? Spoilers for chapter 1086. Yeah, someone chose 1086. I said, give me a number 1 to 1086, and they gave me 1086. So going onward, chapter 1086, titled The Five Elders, for good reason. I mean, like, we get the debut, not the debut, but spoiler warning, the names of the Gorosei. Jay Garcia Saturn, Marcus Mars, Shepard Jew Peter. I'm gonna have to look at this one. Ethan Baron V. Nusjiro, and Top Man Warcurry. And then the revelation of Figureland Garling, who is most likely Shanks' grandpa or dad. I mean, he has to be. And of course, we see S. Croc, S. Bat, and S. Mingo. Now, I know people are like, well, why isn't it S. Gecko? His name's Gecko Moria. Because, so you know how like Gecko Moria had brick bats? The brick bats? Okay, Gecko Moria is a pun. So bat in Japanese is Komori. And so Gecko Moria. Komori. Gecko Moria. It's just a silly pun. Anyway, and of course we get Eames' family name of Nerona. Nerona, apparently one of the founding kings. This image right here has always bugged me. Why are Eames' hands so low? Like, Eames' head is up here, and then Eames' arms are like several feet below that. It's kind of weird. And of course, we cannot forget to mention the Mother Flame, the device that destroyed Leloucia. It's just, wow. Moving into our non-spoiler territory, we got 777, titled Zoro versus Pika. And so you think, oh yeah, we know what we're getting ourselves into. Zoro versus Pika. No. It starts with Diamante getting absolutely annihilated by Kyros. And then we got this Viola shot where I like to point out, because, I saw this and I was like, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of this shot in the Hunter x Hunter Chimera Ant opening, where we get this exact same shot with Gon and Kite like turns into Pito, because Kite gets killed by Pito. Pretty cool. But finally, we get to Zoro versus Pika, and this is like the last 2 pages of the chapter. I am not kidding you. Remember how in Wano, the chapter where Zoro beats king is called... I don't think he beats him in the chapter. The one where Sanji beats Queen is called Sanji versus Queen. Same with like Nami and Khalifa, but I think Zoro versus King is like the only one where it's titled that, and he doesn't beat him. But he gets like, it's the entire chapter is literally about their fight. This one, it's called Zoro versus Pika, and it's 2 pages of them fighting. That's it. Anyway, we have stuff to do, so we move on to 934, which is back in Wano. So we have to go back up the waterfall the Big Mom pirates couldn't get up. This chapter is titled Hyogoro the Flower, and there was a request again by Noda Skywalker. Usopp talking with a cockatiel perched on his nose. Isn't that great? But we open this chapter not with Hyogoro, but Flomp, and I just want to point that out because Flomp kind of is just awful. Also, in the front there, like you see Smoothie and Daifuku's shoulder. But is that supposed to be Brulee or Galette? Charlotte Galette is the butter fruit wielder. She has the ability of like creating butter, and I just think it's such a cool power. But I think it might be Galette, or just some other Big Mom pirate. Anyway, this is the chapter where Hyogoro gets absolutely annihilated by this guy. I cannot remember his name, but he's the scorpion smile fruit user. And then there's Baba Yaga, which I know isn't his name, but I know it starts with Baba, so I'm just going to call him that. But maybe these animal people, I know they're not okay, but these animal people, they remind me of the ones on Punk Hazard, where our next chapter lies in 674, where we get Disgust Caesar. Disgust Caesar. Is this the debut of this face? Because it happens like 5 times in Wano, and it's great. But I think this might be the first time we see it happen. I love it though. Love this picture. And of course, we get Eustace Kid watching Punk Hazard because I mean, I don't know. He's bored. He wants to watch TV, so he just watches an island get like eviscerated by a poison axolotl. But up next, we get 472 in this beautiful package. Can we just appreciate this? I actually said to him, like, I'm going to put this in a video. Do you want to change it to text? And he said, no, I'm going to give you a better picture. So, just wanted to point that out. And this is actually the best chapter we've gotten so far. Chapter 472, titled Down. We pick up in the midst of the battle with Oars. Chopper, Usopp, Zoro, and Frankie, Robin, and Sanji are having tremendous issues until Frankie calls out an order. Zoro, twirly guy, stand by, support my legs. And then in a moment's notice, Pirate Docking 6, Big Emperor, is born. Oar's undoing is here. Chopper cries out, wait a second, Frankie, the left arm isn't docked yet. What? Frankie cries. Usopp and Frankie beg Robin to join. Hey, Nico Robin, what are you doing? Dock with the left arm, hurry. Come on, Robin, do it, just like me. And Robin gives one simple answer. As a person, I'm embarrassed. And that's how the Straw Hat Pirates died. No, they eventually do get oars on his head without Pirate Docking 6, but man, imagine if Pirate Docking 6 worked. That would have been absolutely fantastic. But bigger than this, Bartholomew Kuma lands on Thriller Bark, and nothing is about to happen. However, before nothing happens, chapter 456 is going to happen thanks to Snapchat AI. Thank you, Snapchat AI. 456, the devil that came from the ice country. Of course, this is the one where we learn how Gecko Moya's powers work. Like here's how shadows work. Like if the body dies, the shadow dies, so you can't kill the body. And we learned its weakness to salt. It's salt, Brook says. And Luffy gets his shadow stolen. Kishi. With him, it looks like I've gotten one step closer to becoming the Pirate King. Hogback? Man, I never noticed how tall Kumashi is. But man, he's like the size of Hogback. I was about to call him Vegapunk. He's not Vegapunk. And Oz makes his debut. I don't know why it says Oz. Who's Oz? I don't think his name is Oz, but that does not matter because what matters is Ryuma versus Brook, which I actually thought happened way later. Like, they actually start fighting. It's not just this and then it's over. Like, they start fighting. You don't know my name. When they hear Master Fencer Ryuma, everyone draws back. Shut up. You are my shadow. Man. Brook versus Ryuma. Now we got 1032, our last chapter. And this is Odin's beloved blade. Video request. Black Cats in Yamato making delivery. By Kokoro Fukada. Wow. Now this is the chapter where, Kanjuro's spirit, his burning revenge spirit, starts going towards the bottom of Onigashima. And when, King is fighting Zoro, and he, pulls his head back and shoots it like a gun. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And when Enma misbehaves, and it's just spectacular. But I do want to point out this is the same exact SBS where Oda just insults every single Eustace Kid fan at the same time and hints at Eustace Kid's spoiler eventual demise, just death. I guarantee he's dead. If he's alive, I'll make a whole video talking about how he's alive. But until then, there's no video on Eustace Kid. So what we have learned is that no one shows anything from Water 7, Enies Lobby, or Marineford, and we somehow touched on almost every single post-time skip book. I think the only ones we didn't touch on were Zoe and Fishman Island. That's pretty good. Thank you to everyone who watched the video and to everyone who answered my questions so I could make the video. Subscribe and bye-bye.